Jake Paul's world just crumbled to pieces after he got himself arrested, and honestly, it's like watching the ultimate fall from grace. All that hype, all those years of building. Minor mishap, getting into a petty fight, no previous charges that could keep him locked up with no bail in sight. His darkest secrets have been yanked into the public eye, and now everything is spiraling out of the worst part. Getting a tear. And you know what's even crazier? The cause of Jake Paul's arrest isn't some random scandal. No, it all ties back to that infamous press conference on August 18th. Remember that day? The one at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City, where everyone thought it would be just another over-the-top contest for his big fight with
Hit that like and subscribe, guys.
It quickly turned into a circus.
Me bouncing a bit like
Something was off. Jake's always been the king of trash talk, but this time he went too far. He thought it'd be a brilliant idea to take a jab at Tyson's illness. You heard that one. Jake stared Tyson down and actually had the nerve to mock him, saying,
"You had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt?
The entire room went dead silent, as if everyone was collectively holding their breath, trying to process the train wreck they'd just witnessed. Even Jake's die-hard fans were probably thinking, dude, you didn't just say that, did you? But Jake wasn't done digging his own grave. He doubled down with his signature arrogance, puffed out his boldly declared,
"I'm here to $10 and knock out a legend. I don't give a fuck about anything else." And he's the one that wanted it to be a pro fight, so he's gonna get his ass knocked out real.
Forget about respect, honor, or even the sport itself. Jake made it crystal clear that he was only in it for the money. And your poor Tyson is just another pawn in Jake's never-ending quest for cash and fame. And let's not kid ourselves, Jake's never really been about improving his skills or learning from a legend like Tyson. It's been about staying in the spotlight, keeping the buzz alive, and feeding his ego. Meanwhile, Tyson was dealing with real health issues, ulcers for crying out. He could have easily pushed out his fight, but instead he just took a brief pause, determined to face Jake when he was back at work.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. I'm not here to the bag.
For Jake? Nah, he wasn't in the ring. Remember when he challenged Mike Perry to a fight for improvement? It was just another ploy line. Jake Paul's rise in the boxing world has been opera, full of drama and controversies that make you question if any of it's even real, and massive social media following have kept him relevant. But let's not ignore the whispers. No, scratch that. The outright shouts from fans and boxing experts who've called out the sketchiness of his victories, especially those oh-so-convenient TKOs that have everyone rolling their eyes and wondering if Jake's wins are as legit as he claims. That's why Tyson said,
"Be in good shape because your health depends on it."
Hey, you're the one that wanted 8 2-minute rounds. You want to make it 10-3?
In the world of professional boxing, where every punch can be the difference between glory and defeat, the referee's role is the ultimate authority. But when it comes to Jake Paul's victories, those refs have had people raising their eyebrows more than once. Take his fight with Tyron Woodley on August 29, 2021, for example. It ended in a TKO, but it felt more like a magic trick than a legit boxing match. Woodley, known for being one of the toughest guys out there, suddenly found the fight stopped in its tracks. The whole thing felt suspiciously like it was choreographed to keep Jake's face from meeting the canvas. And then there's that bizarre spectacle against Ben Askren on April 17th, 2021. Another TKO, another round of what just happened? Askren, a former MMA champion, barely hit the floor before the ref swooped in to call the fight. It was like watching a ref put training wheels on Jake's career, making sure he stayed upright no matter what. Fans and critics alike were left questioning whether these wins were truly earned or if they were just part of a larger scheme to protect a rising star with shaky credentials. This isn't just a small cloud hanging over Jake's career. It's more like a looming storm that threatens to rain on every parade he tries to throw. And Mike Tyson, the man who's seen and done it all, wasn't about to let this slide. So when Tyson announced the knockout-only rule for their upcoming clash, it wasn't just a tweak, it was a challenge. Tyson was saying, let's see what you're really made of. No shortcuts, no handouts. But Jake, let's just say he wasn't too thrilled. The crowd erupted with excitement when Tyson dropped this bombshell, cheering for a real fight, not another questionable victory. And Jake, he totally lost it. He grabbed the mic and unleashed a tirade that had nothing to do with boxing and everything to do with his fragile ego.
Shut the fuck up, New York. Hey, boo your yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York.
Listen.
New York, New York, New York. You're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. Fuck you, New York. Fuck you.
Teapot. No
Dumbass
respect.
Democratic City.
This wasn't just an outburst. It was a meltdown that showed just how rattled he was. The idea of fighting under Tyson's rules, no room for the usual shenanigans, had him panicking. His usual swagger was gone, replaced by a desperate attempt to regain control in a situation that was slipping through his fingers. But what made it worse was how Jake had talked about such a big game before. During the negotiations, he was all about fighting on Tyson's terms, making bold claims about stepping up to the challenge. But now, faced with the reality of those terms, he was backpedaling faster than anyone could have imagined. The bravado was gone, and all that was left was a guy desperately trying to wiggle out of a fight he clearly wasn't prepared for.
Shite bag. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. It's a shite bag.
This is...
The charges were for breaching contract and potential fraud, all tangled up in the legal web Mike Tyson's team had spun. The arrest was swift, completely leaving Jake, and pretty much everyone else, stunned. 1 minute he's a carefree surfer, next he's being hauled off, looking less like the brash YouTuber turned boxer we're used to, and more like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And if you thought that was the end of it, think again. The whole thing took a turn for the legendary when Mike Tyson sat down on Logan Paul's podcast and got asked why he was going after Jake so hard. Now, Tyson's not the kind of guy to mince words, and he didn't disappoint. He laid it all out, making it crystal clear that this wasn't just about some dispute. No, this was personal. This was about respect, about sticking to your word, and about the kind of integrity that's built Tyson's reputation both in and out of the ring. Tyson's never been one to back down from a fight or let anyone get away with disrespect. But here's the thing. When Jake disrespected him at that press conference and then tried to worm his way out of their deal, Tyson didn't go off the rails. He didn't let the old fiery Tyson take over. And why? Because Tyson's learned a thing or two over the years about keeping his cool, even when every instinct is telling him to throw hands. On the podcast, Tyson put it in his own no-nonsense style. "I'm a straightforward person," he said, his voice carrying the weight of 1,000 battles.
I'm not doobie snack.
Jake's trash talk? It didn't faze him.
Hit that like and
Tyson's been
subscribe,
through hell and
guys,
back.
please.
There's nothing Jake Paul could say that would even make him blink. But what really got under his skin was Jake's blatant disregard for their agreement.
Exactly.
For Tyson, this wasn't just about boxing. It was about being a man of
honor.
your word. And in Tyson's world, your word is everything.
You break
Now,
that,
Tyson
I'll
could
break your
easily
jaw.
let his temper flare. We all know what happens when Mike Tyson gets mad. But instead of letting loose, Tyson chose a
Look
different
at that
path.
teapot. I've already said this
Because
in
he
my
knows where
video.
that kind of anger
That
leads.
arsehole standing like that.
Prior experience. When that tough guy Mike Tyson comes out, when it's not necessary to come out, I'm always in handcuffs. So I'm very careful when that guy.
Tyson admitted, referencing that side of him that used to settle disputes with his fists. No questions asked.
Now it's lawyers.
That's the Tyson who ruled the ring, the one who didn't take any nonsense. But that's also Tyson who's well aware that flying off the handle has landed him in hot water more times than he can count.
Like myself.
He
That's
even
a lawyer,
confessed.
man.
Drink, get ready to get in a fight, I break out the handcuffs. I break out the handcuffs.
But it's a stark reminder of just how fine the line is for Tyson between staying in control and letting things spiral out. He's lived a life where one wrong move could send everything crashing down. So when Jake started acting up, Tyson made a deliberate choice. This wasn't just about keeping Jake in check, it was about keeping his own demons at bay. Tyson's decision to handle things legally was his way of showing that he's learned from the past, that he's not going to let
moved
Jake Paul
on.
or anyone else drag him back
Some
into the
be
chaos he's
arsehole.
fought so hard to
I
escape.
wanna be.
It was a powerful move, sure.
Hit
But
that
more
like
than
and
that,
subscribe,
it was a
please,
testament
guys.
to the
It
man
goes a long
Tyson has
way.
become.
I'll be a
A fighter who's
bipolar
learned that
problems the
sometimes the
last few
biggest
weeks.
battles are the ones you fight within yourself.
That's what I'm doing. I'll fight mine.